So this is the staircase up to, we call this the lower staircase. Up there, somewhere up there, is a guide cable that goes to the top of this tree right here, this cedar tree. So it goes to the top of that cedar tree, and where there's a pulley, and at the end of that pulley is a couple counterweights, and below that counterweight, right in here, is a winch. Those counterweights are fairly small. They can't lift the ramp, but it helps with using the winch to pull it up. And at the top of that cedar tree, the top of that cliff, which is about 60 feet, there is a, right here, right there, is a fir tree, and at the end of that fir tree is some rigging that is connected to the top of this cedar tree to help support the cedar tree from getting pulled towards the ocean. And there's the ramp. You can see that the ramp doesn't line up perfectly. Well, maybe it's not so easy to see, but the ramp doesn't line up perfectly with the cedar, so it comes off on a bit of an angle. So that's why we need those guide cables to keep the ramp centered. The new proposed location for that cedar tree, which is dead, and so we're going to have to remove it and replace it with a different support mechanism, and that is going to be this cedar tree here. So we're going to take the rigging, the fallers are going to take the rigging from this cedar tree, move it over to this one, and then use that same fir, which is just right there, as a support. And I'm also going to drill into the rock at the top of the cliff to add a second support for that cedar tree. And then we'll have a pulley at the top, near the top of the cliff on the cedar tree, and then counterweights coming down. I'm just going to go to the top of the cliff now and show you a different perspective.